Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome, as we always do, to the start-finish podium. Some years he's not here because he's somewhere else. But he's been around bicycles and the bicycle world for a very long time. Once a developmental rider, at one point in time, riding in the Masters, representing this country. This is John Tolkamp, who's the president of Canadian Cyclisme.
Cycling Canada Cyclisme.
Cycling Canada Cyclisme. John Tolkamp, you have a smile a mile wide on your face because yesterday and today has been a phenomenal day for Canada at the Pan Am Games.
Yeah, we've done amazingly well. Yesterday Tori Nahag won gold in BMX, and today was a massive day from our mountain bike team. We took gold both in the men's and women's, and Emily Batty gold in women's, Raphael Gagne gold in the men's mountain bike, and then Catherine Pendrell, current reigning world champion, was silver as well. So 3
medals for Canada today alone.
3 for cycling alone today. So yeah, I had a very happy call from the president of the Canadian Olympic Committee again this morning about the results and how we're really helping lead the whole team there in Toronto.
So he's not standing here, but for those of you that have been around the sport for a little while, or maybe have been regularly watching bicycle racing in Canada, and maybe you were watching as Brian Walt won a silver for Canada on the Velodrome. I can still remember, but John Tolkamp, Velodrome coming up, an unbelievable sports facility built in Milton, Ontario. Big deal for Canada.
Yeah, it's Milton is a bedroom community of Toronto, and we couldn't be happier with the facility there. It's a world-class facility. Like I explained, it's $50 million facility. It's a community center for the town of Milton, and it's our new home for our national track cycling program, and we're expecting great things coming out of there.
Because if you don't have the facility to train on, if you don't have the ability for your athletes to ride every day, to train hard, it becomes a whole lot easier or a whole lot harder to develop.
Well, what we've been doing is we've been sending our national team down to the only other 250 indoor world-class velodrome in North America in California. And our national team's been basically based out of Central California up until this past year.
That's expensive.
It's expensive, and you know what? We can't develop the riders that are around as well. That's what to me is most exciting. Is this velodrome is situated in a growing community. I look at the families, the young kids that are just circling that velodrome, and we've got a huge talent pool. You know, the 5 million folks that are in the GTA are part of that talent pool now, and that's just going to add to the strength of the program we've got coming.
Talk to me very quickly about what's going on the road.
Road-wise, actually we're working really hard at qualifying riders, both for the upcoming World Championships that are in Richmond, Virginia this year, actually in North America for the first time in a long time. It looks like we got a good contingent of U23 senior men.
And as they go by, put your hands together. We'll get the clock on them and find out what the separation is and just how far out these guys are. But I have some sense that they built a better than expected lead over the chase out of the peloton, and this may be where the story is going to be written here this afternoon.
That is looking like the winning break right now, I would say.
Absolutely, that is looking like the winning break. It was 25 seconds a couple of times earlier, and it was a 30-second break a couple of times earlier. But I'd say we are edging on a minute here right now. And what a change it makes as the weather changes. It looking good, guys. You got to break a long way out there.
They're going to have to work hard there if they want to catch him. But there's a lot of horsepower in there, and Optum's got a big chunk of that horsepower.
Well, I think that's what it comes down to. 45 seconds. The lead group has a lead of 45 seconds. So, you know what? Who's to know? Because earlier we had a 25-second break that was reeled in. We had a 30-second break that was reeled in. But it wasn't under these kind of conditions. It wasn't this warm. You didn't overheat. Hydration wasn't a factor. So 45 seconds right now as that lead group goes out. Brian Walton steps up. Brian, I was just talking to John about roads, so very quickly, John, let's just finish off that conversation. Are we optimistic? Some good things are...
Brian's always a competitive guy. He's like fighting over the microphone here.
If I can't sit on the saddle and put my feet on the pedals, I want to hang on to the microphone. But Canada, some good stories ahead of us.
Oh, for sure. It's continuing to develop, and I think I always continue to look at our women's program. They're up and coming. We saw a lot of the strength here today, and it just continues to grow. And while a lot of our women are actually headed off to Europe right now, they finished this race up, and they're on the planes tomorrow off to Europe. And Leah's looking to add to her podium experience at the Tour de France there and on the Champs-Élysées in a couple of weeks.
So does any of this and the growing attention to cycling, excitement, the development, the changes that are in the average everyday bicycle that anybody buys when they go into a bicycle store, is this being driven by cities like Vancouver where cycling is, I saw some numbers that said 55% of every daily trip now in Vancouver is on a bicycle. 55% of all the trips into downtown Vancouver on a bicycle. Those are numbers that could never have been imagined a couple of years ago in any major city in Canada.
There is, I think, a cultural shift around transportation, and for us in the sport of cycling, we're benefiting from that as well. And there's a few guys out here racing, and I've raced with a few guys in the past that actually got their start in the commuter wars. I know one fellow, interesting story, a fellow that I raced with went on to do very, very well at the provincial level. He used to ride the bus every day to work and school, and there was a transit strike, and he got on his bike, started riding, and then he found out he had a natural talent and developed that into being a provincial champion.
Well, certainly, as they say, I mean, look at this guy. Didn't even start riding till he was 18 and discovered that he too liked the bicycle. Does Gran Fondo come to play with any of this at all? I mean, it's a total separate animal. I recognize that. And the only thing that's common is the fact that it happens on a bicycle. But does Gran Fondo have anything to do with these people being here or what's going on with regards to the sport?
Oh, most definitely. And, I think in terms of direct athlete development, I wouldn't say there's as much coming out of the Gran Fondo, but what it really is it's engaging people in the sport of cycling. So we've got a lot of these parents nowadays that are doing Gran Fondos that say, hey, you know what, they're introducing their kids to riding the bike, and those kids are now becoming our athletes.
And it also opens the doors to, granted White Spot's been here for 15 years, but it does open the doors to more high-powered, big-dollar businesses getting involved with the sport of cycling.
Well, and directly related to that, I was mentioning our $50 million velodrome. Well, $18 million of that funding came from private funders in the GTA area, and those are the guys that rode Gran Fondos.
Final question. We'll have a chance to talk about this at Wednesday, but Global Relay. What happens when a multi-million-dollar global competitor in the cloud computing, what's the result when they step up to the table the way that they have?
We haven't even seen yet what that's going to do for us and for Global Relay, I think, as well. And, I can't say how well they've supported us. And they didn't even know cycling a few years ago, and they got involved because they wanted to be involved in the community, and they knew about Gastown, the Gastown Grand Prix race. And now they've got the Global Relay Bridge the Gap program. They came on last year as a national team sponsor for Cycling Canada, and we're going to actually have some women out there in the national team kit on Wednesday. They've been phenomenal supporters, and I think it's a really, really unique fit. They're a growing company. I think they're going to be they're world class in their industry right now, and they're going to continue to grow. And I see that as a partnership that we can help them with to get their exposure for them in Europe, across North America, and as they grow, and I hope that we can continue to grow along with them.
Well, I don't know if they knocked on your door or you knocked on theirs, but whatever, it was a marriage made in heaven, and cycling in this country has never been in such a good shape because of Global Relay, and congratulations to you for your work as you continue to push cycling in Canada. Thank you so much.
No, I love it. Passionate about it. And again, thanks to the Delta community for their support, for the city of Delta, the whole community, for everybody coming out. This is a phenomenal event. Again, it's stepped up. The big screens, the live streaming.
Isn't that incredible?
It's unbelievable. I've spent some time there with the production company understanding how they're doing it, what it takes, and what it's going to take to move it to the next level. So I'm totally impressed with what's being shown, what's going to be done here.
John Tolkamp, president of Canadian Cycling. Cyclisme, thank you so much.